So back in February of this year, I gave myself a challenge. 1 roll of film, 1 camera, 1 month. I chose my Canon A1 because I wanted to keep my medium format cameras available for other trips, and I decided to go with Cinestill 800T, one of my favorite films at the time. I'm no stranger to finishing a roll in a month to even like 2 to 3 months, but I wanted to try and space out a roll evenly across a month and see what I could get, bring my camera everywhere every single day. I initially started filming this on my Sony, but as I started to go through the challenge, I realized it was much easier to film on my phone to where I could have my camera every day and just when a moment happened, I was ready to go and to get it. So this is a little bit of a hodgepodge, a little super cut of my February, and I hope you enjoy it. I will say I did miss one day, but you know, it is what it is. So I'm going to go ahead and shoot this photo twice just because I don't want a first of the roll incident to happen here. So right now, for shooting at ISO 800, I'm going to shoot it about 1/4 of a second at f4. I really like the way that the icicles are coming off of it. And since I have 2, I might do one of the icicles and then another just... Well, but don't have to worry about first of the roll now. I have to study it for a shot for a bigger concept that I want to do. Yeah, focus on the phone right now. I kind of know where I'm going to be. So I have focus where I'm going to be. And we'll see how this goes. Day 2. So this is day 3. The ISO 800, 1 second, f8. So I've seen this shot a lot driving home, and I brought a little step stool to try and clear the fence. So I'm in the back behind this car wash here, and it's really interesting looking through this hole in the glass. And there's this sign for the old car wash that used to be here. I'm hopefully going to try and meter for that, but I obviously didn't get in there without my, actually get in there with my light meter, so I used my phone. And it's looking like it's going to be about a 1/125th out of 8. So. So this pixel of an image right here is because I accidentally dropped my camera. It was on a shoulder strap and everything, and my hand just loosened, and luckily everything seems to be fine. I've shot several rolls on it since, but I wanted to note that. For today's shot, I'm going to be shooting this little corner of Marabou Square. I just got done shooting across East Texas today, so I'm a little bit tired, but still want to get a shot in today. I don't want to try and cheat it, so I'm going to try and get the corner. It's very similar to like those Back to the Future vibes. So I'm 1/60th at f2. I'm just using the camera's internal meter, and I'm going to trust that it'll be okay. I'm trying not to get out my tripod. So here we go. I'm going to include Ulta in it because Ulta and Ross are new additions to this area. So 1/125th at f16 in the light, and then at 5.6 in the shadow. So I'm going to go at about f11. Gonna do 1/2 second at f22. I'm not sure if this is the best composition, but this is what I got. Kang. Ant-Man sucked. Kang was great.
Ants! Ant-Man!
I did this one at a 60 at F2. The light on this side of my face is actually about a 4, but I wanted it to be about a 2 for this side. I don't know how to look, but this is roughly the composition, and just a few different elements of me sprinkled throughout. My light reading was for an 1/8 at 2.8, but I'm going to go with F2. The reason why I'm going with this particular reading is to where maybe all this reflection in the background won't be as prominent and will be more bokeh out instead of it being like very clear, as opposed to doing, like, for example, a 2-second reading at F11. Just get a nice sheen all over the marble cover 2000. And this should all be being filmed this way, so let's just get as much as I can. So again, it's being read from here from the camera at about a 16, and then when I went up there it was also a 16. Whenever I read the lights right here, it's about F22. I'm doing 2 seconds to where that light on the marble can reflect, and it should look real cool. It's looking like we're gonna do about 1 second at F11 to get this mattress factory outlet here. It's 111, or it's F11 at around like the deepest part of this light over here. Cocaine Bear. I shot this photo more so at night, but my camera ran out of space, so here's the scene. So overall, February was a pretty dreary time. I think it's very much reflected in the photos, and a lot of the photos I took indoors because that was what was easiest at the time, and it was kind of hard. As you can see, that first day I got out there with my umbrella, and I didn't want to try and like figure out ways to do that every single day. But what that really made me do was kind of reevaluate what the photographic is and like what that is in my home. I think often we are in these environments and spaces and we kind of get accustomed to them, but we forget to view them as unique spaces that are different from anyone else's home or environment that people have seen. This project also allowed me to shoot subjects that I've been wanting to shoot for a while now. Every time I'm driving to work or just driving generally places in Paris, I always see these scenes, but I never stop to take a photo. Some of these I've even been looking at for a few years now, and I'm really glad to have finally gotten a version of it. And that's the nice thing too, is now that I've finally done this, I can always go back and get more versions or images if they didn't turn out how I wanted. One that I've been looking at for the longest time is the pawn shop. And I feel like the highlights were a little bit too blown out, which means, I mean, there's always an excuse to go out and take it again, maybe even on like a medium format camera, for instance. So I'm really glad that I did this because it allowed me to just stop and appreciate these scenes around my town and finally go out and capture them. This is something I've been doing a lot more now since this project, and now I'm even shooting like rolls weekly and going out and photographing Paris around me. In terms of how Cinestill performed, I'm really glad with how it turned out. I probably should have used it a little bit more at night, but I liked experimenting a bit more with it in daylight and seeing that red halation in different scenarios and just a typical neon sign nighttime environment that you typically see this film stock used in. Overall, there were some really good standouts on this roll. I really liked the destroyed house. I'm glad to have been able to just have caught this driving home from work while it was raining. The photo's a little bit blurry, but I'm still glad to have this image on top of like photos from the abandoned hospital, going into the movie theater, which is something that I've wanted to do for a long time now. Overall, I think it was just really cool to capture these images and to spend every day trying to find something worth photographing. So I highly recommend trying this if you've never done it. do one roll over the course of the month and see how it goes. So that's all for this one, and thank you very much. See you in the next one.